Hello, everybody. This is Suzanne Wagner, and it is February 17th, and I put out this morning on my blogs and everything a astrological blurb about the upcoming week that we're about to have. And so I'm going to do a video blog because I know some of you actually prefer video blogs over writing. And I just want to say again, I believe everything happens for perfect reasons, and I'm super grateful for all of you listening to me throughout all the years and being interested in what I have to say. So thank you so much for listening and taking the time to go through this. We are coming upon a very unusual series of astrological events that are very powerful and they're very important, but they're quite intense. Now, whether these things are happening on a personal level or whether they're happening on a global level or all of the above, I'm not 100% sure. But what I can tell you is that we've all been feeling a building of energy. I can't tell you how many clients I've had come in and say, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? There's such intensity happening. And so I wanted to kind of briefly go over this so that we're all a little bit ready and prepared for this. So this is the moment. It's a turning point astrologically. What that means is anyone's best guess at this point. But this day begins a kind of a 3 to 4 week unraveling of energies that will bring quick and rapid changes. And it can create a lot of nervousness and stress and upset. So I'm letting you know that so you learn to kind of separate your own experience from the global experience, because you're going to need to be able to maintain your own center to make appropriate choices moment by moment, regardless of what the external is doing. A lot of things are going to happen very quickly from this point going forward, and I'm not completely sure what that's going to look like, but I can tell you that there's so many people having these big energy surges and big epiphanies, and I think that everybody can't be wrong as we come on to this. So ultimately, I believe all of this upset is positive, but sometimes changes come in catalytic sort of ways, and we are kind of in the most sensitive of times as we're caught between these two eclipses, the first one that happened on February 10th and the second one that's going to happen on February 26th. So the one on February 26th is a solar eclipse in Pisces. And solar eclipses in Pisces, they're extremely emotional. They're very intense. They create an ending of some sort as well as a beginning also. So right now, today, on the 17th of February, the sun is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is a very fixed mental sign, and so you might be noticing how set in your mind you happen to be. You want to be right, you want to believe what you believe, regardless of if it is true or not, and this is one of the big challenges everybody has been having right now as to what's true and what's not. But the sun is going to move into Pisces right before that eclipse on the 26th, and that is going to make us feel even more sensitive to the energies that are unfolding. And I'm sure everybody's going, more sensitive than this? Are you kidding me? So I want you to expect a lot of emotions and a sense that some sort of completion really needs to happen. So from February 18th, which is Saturday, things are going to get very tricky. This is the last time that the nodes are going to conjunct the sun in the Pisces-Virgo aspect. Today is going to be, so the 18th, I should say, is going to be a really triggery day, and you're going to get tested in ways that you do not yet understand. And it can bring up hidden issues, and those issues are going to be kind of very critical for you to understand. It is going to show you your self-sabotaging ways, your hidden, unresolved, and unhealed issues, and your subconscious patterns of perception that are very toxic and that are causing harm and damage to the world and others. The moon is going to square the sun for days on end, starting on Saturday, and that is always kind of an unpleasant aspect. The sun is entering a sign when the moon is sort of squaring it, and it's kind of like this, oh my gosh, moment, and things are going to change really fast. there is a huge tension, and the sun and the moon are not going to agree, and the moon is going to happen to be in Sagittarius. So you need to kind of prepare for total chaos and breakdown of something or some situation, again, whether this is global or personal or all the above, on February 17th through the 26th. Things are going to kind of be ending in some sort of way, and your perception is going to radically change. And the moon and Saturn are going to be squaring, and so your emotions and your direction and your work are going to be, like questioning the reality. Your emotions might want to go one way. The reality is going to smack you really hard and force you to address the non-reality of your feelings. Now, this is sort of a dangerous aspect, and I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I'm just trying to make you understand how intense this could be. So on the 19th, the moon and Saturn are going to still be squaring, and then Mars begins to square to Pluto, and this brings like an aspect that's like death, guns, and destruction. This is a moment where people could really lose their reality base, lose their sense of center, lose their mind. And this aspect is about killing, ending things, and breaking things down. It creates a tremendous amount of pressure and fear right in the forefront of your life. So whatever is happening in your life, I want you to kind of look at it right now and say, okay, how could I consciously, safely, and constructively navigate the intensity of this moon and Saturn squaring, and how can I recognize I'm going to have to let something go, and what I'm going to have to let go of is the non-reality, and I'm going to have to step into the brutal truth of the reality. So there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be willing to do whatever it takes to end this chaos. And February 21st is sort of one of the worst days before the eclipse. The sun and the south node are conjunct, and this is an extremely sensitive position. And when you've got Mars sort of squaring Pluto, making things ego-oriented and a desire to force a change, but it is an ego change. It's not really a really healthy change. And you see this right now actually all over the place in the government. Like, it's like, did everybody's egos completely take over? I'm not sure what has happened. Like, the choices and the decisions that they're making are ridiculous. They're ridiculous, and it's all based on ego and trying to have some sort of a shock value. So it's really important for you to stay very centered in your core and recognizing that you are being pulled like puppets based on other people's egos, and you want to, again, stay as grounded as you possibly can. So this kind of out of nowhere, unpredictable, radical, reactionary pattern that's happening in the world is very hard to navigate. So then Neptune, which is the planet of illusion, delusion, bewilderment, hysteria, madness, dreaminess, falsehood, lies, self-deception. It's the planet of the deceiver, and it's this feeling that everyone has been feeling really lost, is still in Pisces, and it's going to be in Pisces until 2028. And so everybody has to learn to sort the deception from the truth. They have to recognize that they have to find what's true on the inside, and when they find what's true on the inside, then you won't feel as lost. Now, Venus is getting ready to go retrograde. Venus doesn't go retrograde a ton. It kind of goes retrograde every like 10 to 15 months. And it's going to go into its shadow period as it gets ready to go into the retrograde. And you might find yourself feeling like you're losing yourself in your shadow. And this can create kind of a huge explosive energy, because Venus retrograde also makes people feel like they're not loved, they're not appreciated, they're not heard, and they're not wanted, and they're not cared for. And this can create a snap point in people's core. So do your very best to be as kind as you possibly can to other people, and to be very aware of what's happening around you, and to be very, very careful. Then on the 21st, Mars is still squaring Pluto, and I want you to really take a look at what it is that you need to put an end to. And then we're going to go into the dark moon cycle on the 23rd and 24th, and you will see by the eclipse on the 26th, which is I think at 6:58 a.m. Pacific time, that you will hit the ultimate boiling point with this explosiveness, this volatility, this nuclear intensity that is Pluto, the aggressive and assertive, I don't care about what anybody thinks, Mars, and then you've got this emotional intensity of the solar eclipse that's actually in Pisces, and so it creates like a boiling point in the energy field. So be cautious of all of your choices and actions. Kind of expect from the 21st to the 26th, there could be a constant point of turmoil with a lot of moments unlike anything you have ever felt or witnessed before. You are coming to an end of a delusion and the end to feeling lost. And the Mars and Uranus conjuncting and squaring Pluto is really going to bring that delusion to your awareness and shatter it into a million pieces. Then on top of it, we've got all of that opposing Jupiter, and Jupiter is a fire planet, and it sort of inflames things even more. Expect everyone and everything to be overreacting. Please don't add to that. Please be that person that goes, whoa, I'm going to sit in my center. I need to breathe. I need to go into my meditative place. So we are coming to the total breakdown of your perceptions and what you have believed, and your most cherished illusions are going to be crumbling under the weight of all of this. So whether this is your personal world or a bigger world view, I don't know whether it's a personal issue related to your life and a job, or whether there's a global event happening. I don't know. I just know that your impulses are going to be over the top, highly emotional, motivated by reaction rather than from clarity. So by the 28th, you might feel like it's starting to calm down a bit, but the wrecking ball of this entire week is going to be felt for a very, very long time. You're going to have to face what you don't want to face. You're going to want to protect and defend untenable positions. You're not going to be acting from a place of overview and clarity. You're going to be reacting to a place of protecting your ego and protecting your confidence and need to be right. You're going to have to face the parts of yourself that are very off, very distorted, very much in the shadow and unclear. You're going to have to face your own self-sabotage mechanism. Your lesson is to find truth over illusion. You can fall into the extreme position of denial and illusion, but I wouldn't recommend that. You need to realize that you have to become more clear. It's going to take work. It's going to take a tremendous amount of effort for you to unravel the distortion and other people's words over your own experience of truth and what is actually true. So most people are going to have to discover parts of themselves that they've been in denial of and they didn't want to know. And this can be a very painful process, but you have to do it because it's going to be very revealing. And you have to become highly informed around your own glitches. We all have to stop blaming others, and we have to start choosing how to avoid our own lies. You have to find balance by looking closely at all the pieces of the puzzle. You have to stop believing in the lies of others that allow you to continue to be in denial and compound your own suffering. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult. This is a huge ending to that old reality. It is not about a quick fix. It is not about continuing to validate your old position, but to open to what you have been resisting vehemently. How you handle this time is going to be very, very telling. So I want you to do your best to stay conscious in a very scary time, and you will have to respond quickly, but you need to do that with as much clarity as possible. So I want to finish by saying that many years ago, like in the 1990s, I think it was about 1993, my friends and I, we were looking at this particular period of time astrologically, and we could see that from 2016 to 2024 that the right and the left were going to be so juxtapositionally opposed to each other that it was going to create a tear in the fabric of the reality, and a total breakdown of structure was going to happen. And The problem is that the non-reality has to be exposed for the non-reality. And those people who have been living in the past, living in a fantasy or a position that does not serve the growth of humanity, are going to be confronted with the total annihilation of everything that they have held most dear. And that is a very scary proposition. What always wins is Uranus and Aries. Uranus and Aries forces us to move forward, forces us to go forward in a way that is conscious and constructive. It forces us to change, forces us to let go of the past. And as you can see right now, so much and so many people are actually trying to pull us backwards. And the problem is that it never works. It never actually can go that way. Even if you wanted it to go that way, we can't go that way. So loosen up those parts inside of your core. Recognize that change is inevitable. The more you resist the change, the more destructive capacity the human mind and consciousness can create on the planet. We have this beautiful planet. Let's make it and continue to allow it to be incredibly beautiful. That's going to require all of us to step in, tell ourselves the truth, and try to be as compassionate and loving to each other as possible. So I hope this helps. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks. Bye.